You have now entered the mindful opinion of Illicit 420, where reason and question merge. Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Maddock, and on this episode of Illicit 420, we will focus on gun violence, a dangerous epidemic which always plagues our nation. Gun manufacturers will always get the blame for gun violence. However, the gun company is a licensed dealer, licensed by the United States government, the same government who cannot keep the laws equally balanced throughout. Individual states do not adhere to the same laws, including gun laws. Every state has their own set of rules and regulations. How united is that? Can the two entities, the backbone of gun violence, share the blame? Remember this, not anything else. Perception is the key to manipulation. Here play the masters. How about the pawn shops scattered throughout the United States? Although the pawn shop owner is making an honest living, he deals with an instrument of death. So if the rules allow for anyone to purchase a gun from his shop, is he to blame? That's a critical position to find oneself. What about the gun violence which now plagues our country? Does the government have a plan to curb the violence? It's sad how the politicians are money-hungry whores, and they don't care about their constituents, us, the poor. Ever notice how once a person becomes a politician, their lifestyle changes for the better? They are suddenly rich. Well, maybe they don't consider themselves rich, but for poor individuals, 200,000 plus a year is pretty rich like. Tragically, the elected are not focused on stopping any issues, for those continue. You know it's true, and if not, look up any serious matter and see the results. Oh wait, you can't find the results. Like I said, here play the masters. Politicians only create dust to cover their tracks, so curbing gun violence is far from their intended agenda, no matter how deep their rhetoric goes. Because as far back as I can remember, gun violence has always plagued our country. I learned a lot growing up in East New York, Brooklyn. Kings of Mayhem instructed me about the chessboard of life. But the major lesson I learned was about gun violence and how it directly affected me, my family, and my friends. Yet, as the years passed, I realized the creation of gun violence was born out of three stages. The first stage is the exposure to gun violence. Although the tragedy of gun violence may present itself in many forms, accidental or direct, the exposure to this evil, whether you're a victim or the perpetrator, is undeniable. The second stage of gun violence is the possession of your mind by the seductive power of the gun. Sadly, the expression of this stage is always through tragedy. There is no other outcome for the possessed. Suffering and misery is always the result. I believe this possessive gun lust is like a drug for those who kill. Tragically, the victim's family suffers as well, and some cannot escape the deteriorating state of depression. The last stage of gun violence is battling your mental parasitic thoughts, thoughts which no one can understand, not even you, but you must wrestle with these inner demons daily. A mental battle explodes in your mind, and if you are a thinking individual, you can realize the traps of your past and move forward without blundering. However, we must not ignore the pink elephant in the room, and that is this. Humans are a violent and dangerous species. Once we can understand what we are, then we can change who we are. If we are not killing each other with guns, best believe we will kill each other with swords. A mental shift must occur, and in the late stage of degeneration we live in, maybe it's too late. However, if you want change, you must lust for it, and you might have a chance to save your soul. Change, the hardest decision anyone can make. But if you want more out of life, then you must learn to adapt your mind, learn to alter your mentality. So how do we tackle the epidemic of gun violence which has swept across our nation? For starters, as a society, we are incapable of stopping gun violence. Gun violence has simultaneously made this nation great and fearful. guns have become the backbone of our society. It is an illusion to believe we can stop gun violence now. We can only lie in the bed we have created. The only entity with such power to curb gun violence is the United States government. You know, it's funny how the United States government sounds different from United States of America. It sounds like two entities to me. However, it appears they have a different agenda. Because those in power to change society lack vision for a new utopian adaptation. Repeating failed ideas, they are creating mindless slaves, and there is no utopian future built on the back of ignorance. Only more suffering and pain can result from ignorance. Awareness of self, and by that I mean the awareness of why you want to do something. The mental pendulum is the key to balance. It allows one to elevate above the condition to act and react, and you must become the pendulum. Can you stop yourself from cursing someone out or keeping your fist to yourself, and yet you are burning with the inner desire to break this asshole's face? That is the awareness I speak of. Awareness before an act, not the acceptance of the act after the fact. As a thinking human, we can only realize the dangerous effects jealousy, revenge, and hate have upon our kind. However, in doing so, a person's awareness, the effect of observation, awakens an inherent response within our creative minds. If you feel comfortable with observing God, that's great. This act allows humans to diminish the negative desire to cause pain, suffering, and eventually gun violence. But many are unable to utilize this function of awareness, and it's not that they lack the effort to try. It's the fact that there are so many distractions attacking your mind, it's hard to defend yourself. The gun buyback program implemented throughout the United States is laughable. The program wants to pay $200 for a gun and $25 for a BB gun. Do you know the cost of a handgun on the streets of New York City? At least £1 and up. If a person paid $500 for a handgun, do you actually believe they will sell it for $200? Hell no. So if the gun buyback program is not matching the street value price of a handgun, then what good is the program? This illusionary tactic only continues to receive the minimal number of weapons per capita. The program is not minimizing gun violence at all. It's only a ploy to give the perception that an attempt is being made to curb gun violence. Upgrade the gun buyback program to pay $500 per gun, and then sell it back to the gun manufacturers. I bet you the program will excel beyond their expectations. Everyone will be happy. Well, except for the gun manufacturers. The civilians will get $500 happy time. Law enforcement will get back their money when they sell the guns back to the manufacturer. But the gun manufacturer will bitch about new gun laws because of the amount of money they will spend buying back their weapons. Shit will change then. Yeah, I thought of this at home, smoking weed. I wonder what those secret meetings in the government are about, because ain't nobody up there thinking enough for me. How about we call the number on the side of the tank? What do you want? The goddamn United States Army here? Think! Think! Shout out to the return of the living dead. Television is another aspect of distraction which fans the flames of gun violence. Many programs actually dumb down the conscious awareness of the viewer, only to have their mind subtly controlled by influence programming. You don't believe me? Then watch a reality show for 2 weeks straight and see how much you can accomplish toward a real goal. The drama is distracting and addictive. The truth of the boob tube is this. The consumption of non-educational programming has finally broken the mind of those trapped in its snarl. The mind which lacks creation causes the same mind to deteriorate. The purpose of the brain is to control the functions of the body. The purpose of our conscious mind is to think. And if a human is not thinking, which causes the synapses to glow with productive excitement, then what is the human's use on earth? If you are not in creation, then you will become obsolete. If you are not mindful, someone is thinking for you, which also allows the non-thinker to follow blindly. The danger in not using your creative mental functioning is that someone else will. And when someone is controlling your actions by influence, the non-thinker will believe the action is their own. The world is in a very dangerous and sad state of mentality right now. It's at the lowest, grossest level and proving there is still yet more for us to see. What I find interesting is the lack of will to change the outcome of one's assumed fate. You could more or less tell what dominates the individual's mind by the expressive voice used on social media. And man, oh man, social media has gotten many people killed over the years. From the day MySpace started to the concept of Facebook, the minds of individuals correlated with the new programming. And at its worst, it deteriorated individual creative capacity. The change subtle, however, the addictive programming is only gaining traction and felt all over the world. The thought experiment in full effect. But how about those individuals who know the path they travel will lead only to death or a prison sentence, and yet live the life they choose because maybe they cannot see any hope in their future? So what can the individual leave behind? Nothing except an evil reputation, a reputation that will fade away with time. Is there not a will to change one's detrimental lifestyle into one of success and leisure? However, we must initially determine what is our meaning of success. Some think it's not a material aspect we should seek within success, but the love of our work is what one should focus on. The process of the action and not the reward of the deed. But try to feed that to today's mindset, and they will laugh at you in your face. Only a few have the depth to grasp the hold of resistance. Preparing this article reminded me of a proposal I thought about for a better America. Yeah, you're in the mindful opinion of Illicit 420 now. My new vision can eliminate negative societal factors, including an alternative approach to diminishing gun violence. I call it Chalkboard Green. The motto is, if you invest with green, vision will be seen. I will now elaborate. Our society is in need of a new millennial view. Although I consider myself old school, my vision is not one of the baby booming variety. I envision a new utopian age for all the citizens of America. If to their liking, the other nations of the world could follow our lead into a united global revision. Nah, shit. Tell me that don't sound good. Listen, Chalkboard Green is a nationwide investing system, rewarding both the investors and the affiliates associated with the program. The incentive for the affiliates begins at elementary grades 1 through 5. The reward for passing students is $250 in vouchers bi-weekly, totaling $500 a month per passing student from grades 1 through 5. The keywords being passing students. Passing students in grade levels 6 through 9 will receive $400 in vouchers bi-weekly, totaling $800 a month for students in grades 6 through 9. Passing students in grade 10 through 12 will receive $600 in voucher bi-weekly, totaling $1,200 a month. At the beginning of the semester, the students will choose their participating investing stores. Throughout the year, the selected store would provide vouchers distributed to the passing students. Serving on a contractual negotiation, all students within the level 1 through 5 will advertise the school's sponsor by wearing the investor's backpack, hat, or t-shirts as part of the program. Students will also have access to pencils, pens, and folders brandishing the investors' logos and website addresses. The passing students from grades 6 through 9 will include, but not limited to, the appropriation of other passing students from neighboring schools, allowing for both the affiliated associates and the investors to experience a broadening array of exposure. The students from this level will also need to send out at least 1,200 emails a week to drive traffic to the School Investors website. The passing students from grades 10 through 12 will include, but not limited to, providing unpaid internship for the school's investor for 8 days out of the month. The students from this level will also send out 1,500 emails in a 2-week period. The emails will drive traffic to the School Investors website. The college student program will implement the same procedure, except with a guaranteed job upon graduation. Within 3 years of implementing the Chalkboard Green program, the need for incarceration will diminish. Along with the assistance from their parents, the youth will have a better monetary option to survive as a human being within a society of new progression. Adhering to the program's above policy, suffering, pain, and misery will deteriorate. The ingredients for gun violence eliminated. That is how you make America great again. Although we live in an age of technological breakthroughs, gun violence will always remain the same. Violent, unnecessary, and will continue to cause destruction within families across America. But how do you move on and live a regular life after gun violence? The truth is, you do not move on, because now you must march on. You can only build mental walls to push away the bad memories, but hold on to the good memories, because those are the ones which help build spirit and the will to live. The merge is now complete. You are now exiting the mindful opinion of Illicit 420. Until next time, stay on point and be safe.